Hi, this is Mato. Welcome to my online chess lecture. Tricks, traps and blunders. Let's start. e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, the Russian defense, maybe. d4, e takes on d4, knight takes on d4, queen to e7, knight to b5, knight takes on e4, knight takes on c7 check, king to d8, and this is the critical position of the game. It is white to move. What would you do in this position if you had white pieces? Play with the white pieces, capture the rook. Perhaps, only perhaps, knight to d5 should have been considered, and after queen to e5, bishop to e2, and white is even better. Back to our game. Instead, player with the white pieces wanted to win material and capture the rook. But this move has a tiny downside. What is it? White played a move and black resigned, and the move is knight to c3. White resigned. Next game. e4, e5, knight to f3, and now f5. The Latvian gambit. Bishop to c4, f takes on e4, attacking the knight. Knight takes on e5, queen to g5. d4, queen takes on g2, queen to h5 check, g6. White to move. How would you continue? Perhaps bishop to f7 should have been considered. Instead, player with the white pieces played this brilliant-looking move, sacrificing the queen, and we have reached the critical position of the game. It is black to move. What would you do? Please pause and find the best move for black. Well, before I show you the move that black played, I will show you the move that player with the white pieces was counting on. He was offering the queen for a brilliant checkmate. But player with the black pieces played bishop to b4, and white resigned. If something like knight to d2, then g takes on h5, and bishop to f7 check doesn't work, because the king has f8 square available. Next game. e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, knight to d4. This epic game was played in 1911, and it was the game between Muhlok and Kostic. Knight takes on e5, queen to g5, knight takes on f7, forking two pieces, queen takes on g2, saving the rook, queen takes on e4 check, bishop to e2, black to move, and to checkmate in one. And the move is knight to f3. That was the famous Blackburn shilling gambit. Next game. This was the game between McMahon and Frank Marshall, played in Brooklyn in 1897. McMahon started with e4. Marshall played e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, the Russian defense. d4, e takes on d4, e5, knight to e4, queen takes on d4, black to move. How would you continue? Marshall played d5, knight to c3. White is threatening to capture the pawn on d5. How would you defend the pawn? What would you do in this position if you had black pieces? Instead of defending the pawn, Marshall played this brilliant move. Bishop to c5, sacrificing the pawn on d5. McMahon captured the pawn. Black to move. What did player with the black pieces have in mind? Marshall capture the pawn on f2 with check. And player with the white pieces make Mahon resigned. In view of this continuation, king to e2 or king to d1. Then knight takes on c3 check, removing the defender of the queen. After pawn takes knight, queen takes queen. Next game. e4, e5, f4, the king's gambit. d5, the Falkbeer counter gambit. E takes on d5, e4, d3, knight to f6, knight to d2. Perhaps d takes on e4 should have been considered. Knight to d2 was played. E takes on d3, bishop takes on d3, knight takes on d5, white to move. Perhaps knight to e4 should have been considered. Instead, player with the white pieces wanted to develop one more piece. But this move has a tiny downside, and that is knight to e3, check, mate. Another case of a single knight defeating the whole white army. What do you think of these miniatures? And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess, and bye for now.